Today I am going to explain about disturbed places. All these main road footpaths are places where lot of disturbances happen. Disturbance means from an ecological perspective it is a lot of human interference is there. In all these footpaths and all, every year they clear the weeds, and so it's where there's constant interference, that's called very disturbed place. Then this is a less traveled lane, so here there's 1 degree of less disturbance, and by looking at the species that are growing, you can judge how disturbed a place is. Like undisturbed places has almost completely filled with this native species. Once disturbance starts, that creates the opportunity for exotic, invasive weeds and all to land up. Now that main road, even bigger, busy highways and all is ruined places, and these lesser traveled tar roads, their footpaths and all are 1 degree less disturbed, because at least some green, some bushes and all are there in the footpath you saw in the beginning part. Then this is the third category. Here invasive weeds are less, because less disturbance is there. People are not continuously digging up everything and trampling over everything. So you will see that some percentage of the native plants are a bit higher. Then this is this place. This has got they've leveled this place and brought that heavy duty equipment and all and cleared. You can see the bare ground is exposed and nothing is able to grow on it, even though we had so many rainfalls, because it's ruined. So in this kind of place, the chances of these invasives will come and occupy nicely, because all the native competition space is cleared. And then these invasive species, they are very aggressive spreaders, whereas our local flora is a bit slow and all. Main reason is that these imported, these foreign plants like this one, they all have no insect is eating them, and then even these cows and all don't eat. So they have no competition when they come to a new land. They can colonize it very easily, and the native flora is unable to compete with them because of their aggressive growth. The more disturbed the place is, the more the invasive weeds fill up. For example, there you can see that's completely taken over by these acacia seedlings, and so in 2-3 years there will be some 1,000 of them will be growing over there, densely populated, so there is no space for native flora. So I've shown 3 different stages, and then now we'll cross over from this bulldozed and earth moved and topsoil removed plot just across adjacent this thing plot, and you can see the difference. I'll stand here and show. This side there's lot of acacia, little mimosa pudica has come, and then that suaveolens, that Hyptis suaveolens, I think it's called, that is there come. Here topsoil is intact, because they didn't put that bulldozer material, whatever, the big heavy equipment didn't come and clear out all the top grass and soil. And in this kind of places it's better protected, and you can find all these kind of plants there. This mushrooms, hey, go. going to hit you. Stupids. And then lot of mushrooms are there here. So they all can come. When in the undisturbed place, because the topsoil is nice, you can see there's many inches of topsoil is there. And so the species, the more native species here. In this plot, there is Caraya arborea, and then that sacred ixora, that red flower over here. Sacred ixora is the native. Then that Getonia floribunda. So invasive species are much less here compared to across that fence. There's a monoculture almost. Here maybe some 200 species are there. This is one of my favorite, that Antidesma gaysembilla. They all come nicely because it's less disturbed. As simple as that. Then the border of this property next to the road is densely populated with native flora, because they don't people don't come here, and it's even less disturbed. So here you will find the density of greenery is more, then number of species is higher, and these kind of places provide more habitats for our native birds, animals and all. And then topsoil formation is good in this kind of place. Like so many leaves have fallen. And then in the under part, all native plants only I can see. There is this Milac species, Dioscorea, and so many of these coffee family plants. So the less disturbed a place, the more native plants it has. And then more native birds and all visit. They'll drop more of the seeds, whatever they've eaten. So native plants will spread nicely. Now, this is the third part of the same property. Here, that less disturbed plot has had fire. So we look at a fire hit place, what happens. Now about half the species can't survive these fires. So when fire engulfs a place, about 50-70% of the plants perish from the root. Many creatures also. But some plants are designed for getting burnt and all. So they survive, little bit compromised, but they come back. So after a fire, this bush has survived. Not bush, this climber. So this one can withstand. You can see it's got burnt to the ground, but the root has the life, so it's come back. Then this Antidesma gaysembilla got burnt, but it's one of those fireproof plants, so you can see the new shoots are coming. Some of the other Antidesma don't have this ability. That Antidesma montana and all, they can't even deal with any fire. This one can. Then also I found that the sacred ixora survives fire. Then so when if a place, less disturbed place, gets fire, then the species profile will change. Some species will vanish because they completely died out. Some others, they have that coping ability, so they survive. And there are species that are selected by nature for this kind of fire places. So if a place gets again and again fire attack, then some species will die out completely, and some species will survive year after year, even though they get the fire attack, but it will be stunted. The plants and all will be stunted because that constant burning compromises their life. The edges are full of biodiversity. There's some 10 feet of 5 feet of border zone. So now 3-4 zones I showed. Here you can see the dried this thing is there, and sometimes in these dried places, in these burnt places, some of the native plants come out very well. So I have shown a few degrees of few variations in the degree of disturbance. And then these complex system, all this nature and environment, ecosystems are all complex systems. They have thousands of factors affect they affect them. So there are top-down interferences, like the owner of the property burns it. That's a top-down. Then bottoms-up impact also is there. After the burning, some species come back, some species die out. That kind of thing. And then when some species die out, the birds, animals, insects who depend on that species, they also immediately vanish. And those species of butterflies and all who can cope with these disturbed places, their population will increase. So this side now is not disturbed. They have cleared all this place because it's this is that valley number 1. I have done so many videos of this because I am myself learning by observing. And all stages of disturbance can be seen in this property because it's a big valley that's got divided into so many pieces, different pieces. People are doing different things. In this section, so many nice little plants emerge in the monsoon. But now this year what happened? From here onwards they have cleared they got the bulldozers and all and cleared it up. So immediately the biodiversity will taper down. You can see less, then nothing here. This is completely disturbed. You can see that bare wall. Here, till there, some 100 or 200, 300 species will be there. All kind of things, natural stuff. Local flora and fauna, insects and millipedes, centipedes, all kind of things. Then here there's abrupt change. There's a cut and then they have removed everything. So now this disturbance has created opportunity for some species to reappear. Some species would have vanished. So when you constantly observe places, I don't mean inside the city and all, in the outskirts and countryside, you will notice that certain plants are there. Now I got so used to looking at these places again and again. One look I can tell how the degree of disturbance. So this place is gone as far as this year is concerned. I mean forever probably, because some of those small plants just can't come back. And this is a laterite area where so many of those tiny laterite species occur when the monsoon starts. Then even less disturbed, let's have a look now. This is the border, and on the other side the old trees have been cut, but it hasn't been disturbed in my estimation for about 20 years, maybe 20-30 years. They haven't bothered to do anything, and you can see there's a wall of greenery. And the species also is very nice profile of native species that ficus arnosiana, then this wild jasmine. Wild jasmine are there. After the flowering, some few hundreds and hundreds of fruits are produced, blackberries, which these birds can come and eat, and then they spread it further. So in undisturbed places, more bird food is there. Then this ficus arnosian also has lot of berries. All these, when they become ripe, the birds are eating. So birds and insects get plenty of food in this kind of place. So if you have this, if you have less disturbed the place, the more food is available for the local birds, and naturally they can survive there. Without food, nothing. In this side, over here, nothing is there. Even a single worm is not available, it's dead. So it can't support any creature. Maybe an apartment can come up and then some 10,000 people can live there, but no animals. So this is a less disturbed, nice place. If you walk into these places, you will find so much of action happening, and so many food sources are available, seasonal food sources. They all ripen one after the other so that the birds have continuous supply of food. See how many fruits are there in this Arnosiana. For example, some 10 or 20 of these will be a full meal for some of the small birds. Then this one, that Memsalon umbellatum, so many berries are there. So ample food will be available in these undisturbed places. And then they'll drop lot of leaves in the ground level also. There'll be lot of insect activity and all. Then lot of butterflies will come when there's undisturbed places, because each butterfly, the butterflies can't just go and lay eggs wherever they wish. They have to find the species that is nature has provided for them, and then only they will lay eggs. So for example, these species will have one or two caterpillars that the one or two butterflies that will lay eggs only on this plant, and its caterpillars can only digest these species. So if it is there, that butterfly will come to lay eggs and its population will continue. If this species is not there, that particular species of butterfly will go with it silently. So Dioscorea, then that Carrea arborea, so many species are there, dense, almost impregnable, and not and this kind of if little canopy is formed, underneath also these thorny weeds and all won't appear. Now we have seen some 4 or 5 types of disturbances and the impacts I have explained. Now I'll take you to a couple of more zones, but while I climb up and down, video and all will look be shaking and all. So now I come back to that ruined place, ruined portion. Here also weeds will come, but all invasive weeds will crop up first. So as we go, now what they have done, all this mud they have concentrated there when they cleared and bulldozed and flattened it. So there is, in that patch there is lot of topsoil, so thick weeds have come, and it's completely dominated by invasive weeds. Last year about 8 or 9 of these laterite raw plant communities and all I had covered in this place only. In this kind of undergrowth, not a single native plant can occur. This is that Hyptis suaveolens completely taken over. End of the story. Then if I can find a way to cross across, we'll now go into that sacred grove and then have a look how the really nice canopied places look. Completely undisturbed places you'll only find in reserved forests where human interference is completely stopped. Oh, There's no path here. Go, go, go. Move. Move. Now I'm crossing over that disturbed zone once again into a less disturbed place. This side is fully gone. Invasive weeds have filled up. But acacia hasn't come. Some Clerodendron serratum is there. So they stopped their interference over there, and this place is a little less disturbed. And then over there, that laterite rock plant communities start. There is no topsoil there, and just the rocky pools. The seasonal rain supports certain species. And then below that there is a stream flows, and that stream goes into the sacred grove. So there a full canopy is there, you can see that. Nice thick canopy. So here the topsoil tapers off, and then it goes down to the stream. And in this this last valley section, some 100 feet or 200 feet of land around this stream, there are these laterite rock pools that support some very nice forms of life. These type of pools. Specialized plants will now start emerging now that the rains came and the water started stagnating. And these plants, they only live in that laterite rock pools, small pools, tiny little plants. Then after that we are coming to the valley bottom, which is more moist and then better protected. Inside the sacred grove is very nice. All these invasive weeds over, just suddenly they will vanish when you enter there. So in a nutshell, these invasive weeds, they occur when the disturbance is more. In less disturbed places, they will not be there. So looking at the profile of plants, what is occurring in a place, you can see how much disturbance has happened. Now we have come to the border zone of that sacred grove. And even here invasive weeds are there in plenty. But just 10 feet inside this sacred grove, the abrupt ending of the invasive species you will see. Now as I enter, it's got dark. Hey, don't fight now. So it's a canopied place. Water has started flowing for last 10 or not even 10, some 4 or 5, 3 days. I've been here last week. And to my left is the core area of the sacred grove that's going to be saved permanently, because it's a holy place and people will not go in and interfere. And then to my right, little bit less disturbed. So we'll have a brief look at that sacred grove. Then I'll close this video so that you can see an undisturbed place, how it looks. And these undisturbed places where the full canopy is there, canopy means all that there's not much sunlight will penetrate. So thorny weeds and all don't come in here. And then native species We'll be in plenty. Little bit the camera and all, I'll be moving a bit fast. You all have to have patience to tolerate that. Then here, sudden change is there. People are not supposed to use iron implements in these sacred groves. That's according to the ancient law of these sacred places. You can do work with your bare hand, or you can get wooden implements, nothing more. This is at Arisayama. Then so beautiful and nice in these places. And some types of mushroom is growing, and all these mosses and those lichens and all. You can see that lichen there. And also trees are very tall, and you will find orchids here because the micro environment is there. All these taller trees, and the higher reaches they'll have some type of orchids, lower reaches they'll have some type of orchids. For example, there's one orchid here that dendrophyllum or dendrobium or something is called. This one. You will not find this outside this canopied, undisturbed places. Then a little bit more in if we go, we are forbidden from walking with shoes over here, so one has to go bare feet. Then this, all these type of greenery you will not find once there is any disturbance. And in this Western Ghat zone, particularly in the town areas and all, the sacred groves are the only undisturbed places, because this Hindu and even Buddhist, they believe that all these sacred places have God lives them here, and its deities are there. So they never disturb it. Even if it becomes valuable real estate, they will just shrink the size of the sacred grove, but not finish it off completely. So much of life is there. Then we are now coming to the, it's quite a small sacred grove, but nevertheless very beautiful and very important, because some of the smaller critters and all, they need these kind of places to survive. The kind of ferns that occur in these places, and the mosses, the insects. You can see that fluorescent green of that begonia. And then some of these mushrooms. Then this fern, it only lives in this canopied, undisturbed places. You will never find it outside. And these large old trees also, only here you want to find. So I have explained in great detail now today the process of disturbance and its effects and the degrees of disturbance. Here, for example, straight away as you enter itself, you will know that this is undisturbed place. Nobody comes here. Once a year or something they come in, do some little ceremony. After that, no human enters. So it is well protected, as simple as that. And as long as these people are afraid to develop these places, they will stay. So with this I'll wind up this one of my longest ever video.